everybody. Welcome to a Monday morning edition of Monday morning. Oh, you see, it already tells you how long my weekend was. It's Tuesday. Welcome to a Tuesday morning edition. It's Box Seats. I had a great Memorial Day weekend, but you know what? This is the show where sports meets comedy. So I got to ask the other comics how great their weekend was because, without them, this really is not a show. So first up is my man, Miss Talent. Talent, how was your weekend? How's everything?
Oh, fantastic, man. I couldn't have had a better weekend.
Yeah,
I couldn't have had a better week. The only thing you could do is hit lotto to get a better weekend than I had. Wonderful.
Cookout and all that stuff too, right? You did all that.
Yeah, everything, man. Everything. I got it in. A lot of work, you know what I mean? But people are feeling themselves. They're feeling better. So I'm happy for people, man. They're getting out.
There you go. There you go. My man Fig, how was your weekend this weekend, brother?
Man, it was lovely, man. But Frank, I know you messed up today, but it's the afternoon now.
Yeah. I feel tired. Thanks for correcting me. I appreciate that. Rodney Perry, how was your weekend, brother?
Speaking of correcting Frank, it's not only the afternoon, but who is the other comics? Are you the first comic?
It's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a long day. I wasn't even paying attention to that. But that's what happens when you operate on 2 hours sleep. 2 hours sleep. 2 hours sleep.
Hey man, you must have had a ball, man. And shouts out to Mrs. Frank Holder putting that work in. Well done.
Yeah. No, it wasn't even that. You getting some work, actually doing work. But okay, I appreciate that. Let's get ready.
I can tell when Frank have a good night. He be a little flustered at the top.
Yeah. Flustered is a great boy. Let's get ready to get this show started, man. I always talk about the COVID report, and I don't really want to talk too much about it. I was just going to say that the Olympics has decided they're going to make a decision this week, and the United States is going to make a decision this week also about participating in the Olympics because like last week, I don't know if you guys have paid attention. You sitting at home. I've been telling you guys about how there's a rising numbers of COVID cases in Japan, and Japan has had another additional 25,000 people who got COVID since we last reported it on Friday. Today's Tuesday. They've had more, especially where the Olympics are going to play in the surrounding areas. So that is, that has a cause of concern for me. I mean, Talent, I don't know what you think, but I think honestly that if the United States is going to send some people there and everything else, they better be doubly, triply vaccinated, bro. That's my thought process. What's your thought?
Well, why don't we just do our pool of betting right now, like a secret Santa list? Everybody put it up and see which way we're going to go. I say that we pull out of the Olympics. I think the United States is definitely going to do that. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised if they postpone it, push it back further.
Yeah, I'm a wholehearted, with that too. Fig, what's your thoughts?
I say pull out. Even though my pull-out game is weak, I say pull out. Let's get out of there, man. Don't go. Don't do it.
Yeah,
don't do it.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
Well, I have 6 children, so I never pull out. But the reality is that I think they're going to figure it out before it comes to that, to be honest.
Okay. All right. Well, to be honest, at the top of this thing right now, they got 5 weeks. You know what I mean? They got 5 weeks to decide because in 6.5 weeks, the Olympics is literally gets ready to get started. Let's get ready to jump into another topic that everybody's talking about, man. And I mentioned this to my wife last night. We ended up getting into a great conversation about this and wondering if we could literally share this with the world. I will say this. Naomi Osaka, 23 years old, made $55 million last year. She does it, she's doing it on the tennis world. Over the weekend, when we last spoke about Naomi, you were talking about her being fined because she did not want to participate in the presser, which is, where they open to the press and the press asks questions and everything like that. Now, Naomi Osaka decided because of the media scrutiny and everything else, she said, you know what? If you guys threaten me and fining me, which they did, I'm going to pull out of the French Open altogether. And I'm going to get my wellness and my mental health together, which literally puts mental health to the forefront of the conversation because people don't realize what's going on with these athletes. And Talent, I'm going to say this. I saw the LeBron James show called The Shop over the weekend. Yeah. And I want to talk about that a little bit later too. But I even heard of a couple of other players saying that mental health was an issue with them too. And a certain Cleveland Cavalier player, I'm sure you could guess who, he decided, he said, you know what, I'm going to fake like I'm basically not even going to play a particular game because mental health was a serious issue with him. You know what I mean? So mental health is something that we're not talking about, and Naomi is putting it in the forefront. What's your thoughts, talent?
Well, she has to, Frank, because it has to. Somebody has to be the person and force it to the forefront, so that the powers that be take it serious enough to deal with it. Because I'm pretty sure what it sounds like is she told somebody or people in the camp said, "Listen, she's not going to be able to, talk to the media. She's trying to keep her head or whatever. She's dealing with things," and they're like, "No, this is part of the job. You talk to the media, or we're going to find you, whatever the case may be." So when they pulled, they pulled rank. They did what they did, and she had to do what she had to do because, I'm with her, man. My mental wellness comes first.
Right.
If it comes down to an interview, we can do those anytime. We
Right.
got people to do that.
Right.
But my health, you get one life.
Not to mention, I'll even say this before I throw it to Fig. People are trying to act like she's bigger than what she is in the sense of she's 23. She's still a kid. You know what I mean? She's still trying to deal with, just being in a professional sport and having to face the pressure of playing in a professional sport anyway. You know what I mean? Even though she's been a pro for 4 or 5 years, she might not mentally be handling all the, things that happen to being a professional sport just yet, even though she's in a pro. I don't know. What you think, Fig? What's your thoughts?
I believe that it's time. You know what I mean? The fact that a celebrity, an athlete that has high profile is talking about this is drawing a lot of attention to it. She's not the first one. I know they talked about Paul George last year in the bubble, Kevin Love in Cleveland. But here's the elephant in the room. Nobody really wants to address it. Soldiers, our troops, and right here on the heels of Memorial Day, have been talking about mental illness for a long time. But when you put a celebrity face to it, it seems to get more attention, a la when Magic Johnson came out and said that he had contracted the HIV virus. Then all of a sudden, a lot of attention was put on it. And, this young lady has been talking about this for a little while, and it's time that we focus on it because it's the elephant in the room. A lot of people in our society are talking about it like it's a weakness. When you talk about, oh man, I'm not doing well mentally and I need help, then it looks as though you're weak. And it just shouldn't be that way. The stigmatism shouldn't be on it like that.
Rodney Perry, everybody doesn't deal with questions from the press, and then be pressed by, sitting down at the table and a whole lot of people facing you. You've been on red carpets. You know what the story is. And some people can't even handle that. I've seen people sweat bullets with red carpets and stuff, but this takes it to a whole nother level. You might not be able to handle pressure from the press. You know what I mean? And we shouldn't be looking down on her like this. What's your thoughts?
I completely disagree. You know what you signed up for. You're a public figure. You know what you signed up for. And now that you're on the world stage, you want to stop talking to people? I completely disagree. I watched several of her interviews yesterday. I just wanted to get a sense of who this chick was. And she's just a little weird, and I think that they might be spinning this toward mental health because mental health is a buzzword now. So her people is like, yo, what do we do? She's losing $15,000, $20,000 a match. Let's stand out of this match. Let's put the mental health spin out there and see if we can salvage some of this money for her. So I don't buy it one bit.
All right, I have to say for the record, I'm completely shocked at your stance, Rodney Perry, being that this is a young lady who's dealing with all the pressure of sports and everything else. She's only been in the pros 4 years. Everything else, people handle it different, Rodney. People handle pressure different. If you think she's doing
23 years old, grow up, little girl.
All right, everybody.
You're a world-class tennis player. Grow up, do the interview, make this paper.
Everybody handles it different. You know what I mean? I can't even know.
Grow up, little girl.
Look at Fig's face.
Yeah.
No, because the funny thing.
I wish my daughters would come to me talking about, Danny, get the hell out of here. Hey, you better go slap that ball around, little girl, and hush up.
Well, okay, but let's just say this: she pulled out of the French Open, which is one of the most premier tennis tournaments in the world, because she's facing that now.
It's damage control, Frank. It's damage control. All big athletes do it. She's not like she pulls out of one match.
She pulled out of
damage control. It's press. It's people around. I'm telling you. Why it'll come out. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Can I just respond to that just very quickly? This isn't the first time that she's alluded to this. The first time she won, it was against her idol, which was Serena Williams.
Right.
And she had a meltdown at that moment. You know what I mean? When they were booing her and whatever. I mean, clearly she was, she was affected because she had a towel over her head. She was crying. And Serena Williams, who was used to this type of pressure, had to come to her defense. This is not the first time that she said anything like this. So, I mean, I'm not going to blow it off.
That's not the same.
I'm not going to blow it off. We did the same thing with Paul George. We did the same thing with Kevin Love. Now we're doing it with this young lady. When are we going to take mental health seriously?
Yeah,
we're not doing nothing. Y'all have y'all position. I have my position. It's just what it is.
Yeah, he like I said, it's an opinion. Everybody got one. Rodney feels one way. I feel another way. I'll say this, like what Fig said, she's been talking about this for years. She ain't just brought this up. It's just like it affects everybody different. But let's talk about the next thing. The next big news that happened over the weekend was Anthony Davis ended up getting hurt. Fig, myself, and Amir had a conversation on Friday. We literally said Friday afternoon, we said, if the Lakers continue to play Anthony Davis the way they're playing him right now, we do not see him getting out of this series uninjured. Like Fig said it, I said it, Amir said it. We're like, you know what, this brother's going to end up getting hurt. Sure enough, the following game, he ends up getting hurt. Now, I don't know what the Lakers are going to do because the Lakers are sitting there saying, okay, we got to figure out this out and everything else. But the series is now getting ready to take a different turn, I think. Talent, what's your thoughts on Anthony Davis being hurt?
I said it last week. I said with these super teams, all you got to do is just keep running up and down the court. Somebody gonna get hurt. Mm-hmm. They're not playing like what you would normally call like a certain team ball. When you put superstars together, they're trying to be who they are collectively on the same team. So if he's a 30-point, 10-rebound guy, he's still trying to give you that when you're on the team with a LeBron, who should be a 30, 10-rebound guy as well. So everybody's just going for theirs. The ball's not moving the way it's supposed to, so it causes you to overcompensate. And when you overcompensate, that's what leads to injuries.
Yeah, one of many things. What's your thoughts, Vic?
The pressure finally took its toll. We were talking about, look, these guys are big and they really are not mobile and young enough to keep up with them young thoroughbreds and horses. And we just like, yo, run them off the damn court. You know what I mean? Anthony Davis is coming off of nursing an injury. LeBron James was coming up nursing an injury. My big man don't run that good. Marc Gasol is old. I mean, run him off the court. Anthony Davis got hurt.
Yeah. Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, there's no secret that the rest of you are rooting against the Lakers. You jinx them by wishing and praying to a Ouija doll, some type of one of y'all done found his comb and made the man get hurt. But guess what? This series ain't over. And if y'all think that, first of all, let's call a spade a spade. The NBA got a room full of writers, and they write in these cliffhangers. Okay, these little Chris Paul shoulder hurt, then it ain't hurt no more all of a sudden. AD hurt tomorrow. I'm willing to bet that AD will play this series. Now, a groin injury is supposed to last weeks. AD will play this series, have a miraculous game. The series goes 7 games, Lakers in 7. Write it down.
Y'all heard what he said? Lakers in 7. Okay. I want to interject here and say one other thing, too, that about the Lakers. I saw that LeBron James series over the weekend. I am not the biggest LeBron James fan in the world, but I can honestly say my feelings about him as a player, not as a player, as a person has dramatically changed. I don't know if you all got a chance to watch that thing over the week. Did y'all?
The shop has been around for a while, Frank, but I'm glad you finally came on board.
Yeah, it has. It's been around for 4 years. I never watched it. I ended up watching one episode, then I ended up binging the whole series over the whole weekend.
It's really good.
My takeaway from that, man, is I thought LeBron James was already a great, player and everything else, but bro, what he did with Chris Paul to be able to call up Obama and to be able to do some things to be able to just get people to recognize what needs to be done for voting, and then doing the process, what was all going on with George Floyd and all. Man, this isn't a bigger athlete than LeBron James. I mean, honestly, a bigger athlete, especially with the stuff he's done. Like, I know about Muhammad Ali, I know about other players that have done a lot of different things, but you cannot tell me right now that anybody has done more than LeBron James. He's affected people, families. He's affected businesses. He's affected cities. And most importantly, now he affected the election to help get a president elected. Like, who has done that? So I'll throw it out to you, Fig, see if you agree, disagree with your thoughts. I don't know what happened to Talent, but go ahead.
He affected that young. No, I'm just. Listen, man. I have the ability to separate the human being from the basketball player. I give great kudos to LeBron James for his activism and all the things that he's done, socially conscious. It deserves its accolades. But what I will say is I'm a little cautious because it being a black man and have lived on this planet a long time, when we celebrate people too much, the government and the powers that be start to look at that person and start to systematically tear them down, like the Muhammad Ali's, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, and then we talk about how they did, how they did Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. So we have to be very conscious and careful how we put our people that do well in our communities on a pedestal.
Okay, I'm not gonna disagree with you, but we ain't there yet, just with LeBron just yet. But right now, Rodney, what you think about what LeBron James has done overall under the guise of athlete to help affect this country, the city, the election? I mean, he's done a lot. So what's your thoughts, Rodney?
I mean, it's no secret. I'm a fan of the guy. I'm a fan of him not only as an athlete, but as a man. And you have to qualify it with the fact that he did this without a father,
right,
or father figure.
Huge.
And
right.
he was helped along the way by coaches and good men in this community. But at the same time, it's uphill battle for a guy without a dad in your maturation process. So for this guy to have become what he's become without a father, that's powerful to me. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan has a lot of his attributes because he had his dad in the home. That makes a difference. And LeBron has had to figure it out with the help of friends and mentors and people like that. So I think whether you like the man's plan or not, you have to respect him as a man.
Talent, I'm gonna bring you up to speed. I don't know if you heard what the topic was. Did you hear the topic? You hear the topic? All right. The topic was, I brought up LeBron James has this show called The Shop, and what he's done in the community and everything else has basically made me think that he's one of the best athletes, overall athletes, activists, everything else of all time, because what he's been able to do with the I Promise School. He picked up the phone during the George Floyd incident and called President Obama. Obama suggested that he does do something. Him and Chris Paul ended up calling the NBA and forced the NBA to open up NBA arenas so people could go out and vote. He also has done stuff where he's affected families by the thousands with the I Promise School. I mean, dude, you go on and on and on with things he's done. And right now, to me, that makes LeBron James the biggest athlete / activist of our time. Hell, of all time so far. He's even forcing athletes today to do something. You know what I mean? I can't hear you, Talent. Can't hear you.
You muted, Talent.
Good. I didn't mute him. Good, Talent.
One second.
There you go.
You can't. I can't say that, and I'm gonna give you one reason why I can't say it. It has nothing to do with kissing less ass than Rodney. The reason why I say we can't say that, in my mind, from what we know, that's the little piece of disclaimer I would put in front of mimicking what you just said, Frank. I would say, from what I know, he's the greatest all-around athlete of all time when it comes to all that. Because there's a lot of things that people do that they purposely keep out of the light. When it comes to activism and charities and monies and opening things and partnering up with people and doing all these impactful things like LeBron's doing. The only difference is LeBron's doing it in the era of everything in your face, everything's recorded, everything's social media. So it's hard to do something without. I'm not saying he's doing it to purposely make the news. I'm saying it's hard to do things today without making the news because of how we do the social media thing and everything. But there's a lot of guys, from Kareems to the Magics to the Jordans and Birds and all those people that championed a lot of things as well, but they wasn't in the limelight. It wasn't a registry made the numbers be caught out there, because we found out a lot of stuff we didn't know about Jordan. We used to get in Jordan's ass about he should speak up, he should do more for the black people, blah, blah, blah. And when they pulled the numbers of all the stuff he's been doing over the last 3-4 decades, everybody shut the hell up. So from what we know, I would say what you're saying in agreement, but I wouldn't, bank on it because I don't know a lot of what the others have done.
Now, you know what? I agree with that, what you just said, but also that even applies to LeBron. Think of the stuff that he's doing that we don't know also. That could even apply to LeBron too. I mean, no matter how you look at it, right now, I'm going by from the stuff that we do know, and from the stuff we do know, I don't think there's any athlete that's affected so much activism to help this community. But again, like you said.
I agree with you. From what we know, hands down.
We could be wrong.
You see that, Rodney? We don't hate LeBron.
Yeah, we don't hate LeBron. I'm not a LeBron hater, man. And even though I still help me lose the series, but him as a man,
he almost slipped up. Even though hope
as the player. Let me talk about now Joel Embiid, man. I want to bring this up. Joel Embiid got injured, right? He got injured during the series, everything else. So I'm going to ask you, Talent, first and throw it to you. Joel Embiid gets injured during the series. He injured his knee. He may not come back and everything else. Does your thoughts change about Joel Embiid and the Sixers in the series now that he gets injured? Or do you still think the Sixers are going to pull it out with or without him? The Sixers are still a better team. They're still going to go deep in the playoffs. Any concerns?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. All concerns. Again, I called it again. I hate to say I called it because I don't want people to get hurt. I just know how they play and what be happening. They better be worried. The ride is over, I think. They got a nice little amount of other players and bench help that will make it keep it competitive. But if I had money that I could shift, I'm shifting my money off the Sixers onto somebody else. You know what I mean? Because I don't think so. The same way those young Atlanta Hawks are running and gunning against my Knicks right now, if that's the team they're going to see next, and you have a problem with Joel Embiid, first of all, don't say it is because it ain't over yet, yo.
No, I'm saying they're going to face they're going to face
playing right now.
They're going to face the winner of the Knicks in Atlanta series.
That's not what you said.
You're right. That wasn't what I said. I didn't say they're going to face them. I did slip up. I did.
No, but I think so. So goes the team. They need him.
All right, Fig, what's your thoughts?
Although Joel Embiid got injured last night, I don't think that it's I don't think it's going to keep him out of the series. They got one, and I think that it's quite possible that he actually plays the next game because he walked off on his own power. He actually played a little bit after the injury and figured he couldn't go. And although he may not be 100%, I think that he will play. And I'll tell you this: I don't give a damn whether Joel Embiid plays or whoever comes out of this Knicks Knicks Atlanta series. They not beating the Sixers, not unless Doc Rivers get injured, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris. Unless about 3 or 4 of them go down. These guys are not winning the next series. Just let's keep it there.
Okay, Rodney Perry, what's your thought?
That was the exact point I was going to make. Embiid could literally go on vacation for a week and a half, and that team would still beat the winner of Atlanta, New York. It's just they're just bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they look interesting because they playing each other. When two bad guys play each other, then it looks like something, but it's nothing.
Okay.
Sorry to see Embiid go down. I don't think it's as bad as it looked, and hopefully he makes a strong comeback. They won't get out of the East. They won't beat the Nets, but they gonna put foot to whoever come out of that Atlanta series.
All right, so I want to come back to the NBA shortly, but there was another topic I had to bring up because we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, when I read the story this morning, I ain't gonna lie, I was rolling. I literally laughed. There's a transgender in the Olympics, and it's with weightlifting. Okay, Anna, her name is the ladies. There's a lady who's very upset. She filed a grievance with the Olympic Committee. Her name is Anna Van Bellingen. She filed a grievance against the Olympic Committee because she's complaining that Laurel Hubbard, who's now a woman, is going to be lifting weights in the competition. She says she shouldn't be allowed to compete because she used to be a he. You know what I mean? And now the she is going to be competing in the women's weightlifting opportunity. You know what I mean? So I started laughing because I was like, that's honestly, that's not fair because men are stronger than women. You know what I mean? Like men, we like to be equal a lot of things.
I changed my opinion on this. I changed my opinion. I say it is fair. If they put the thing on, the bodybuilding suit, and there's no print in the front, they should be allowed to finish lifting. You know what I mean? Like when you put the little thing on, the tight little spandex bodysuit thing they wear, and they lifting. If they lift and it ain't no print, no elephant trunk or nothing down there, and it look straight.
So so for the record, I want to say you're saying for the Olympics we got to have a pecker checker. That's what you're saying.
Look, camel toe. Whoa. Who is this guy? Camel toe. Wait a minute. Camel toe. Listen, guy. Keep coming on this line. Camel toe. You got where's the clipboard? You gotta have one of these, right? Yeah, all right. All right, come on, let him in. All right, camel toe. Wait a minute. Is that a pecker or a decker?
Okay. You think? What's your thought?
Hey man, this is so crazy, man. It's hilarious. But here's another side to it, man. It's a known fact that weightlifters usually are not that well endowed. There's something about lifting weights makes your stuff shrivel up a little bit, and they can get a little tied down. So it may not be no trunk where there was a camel toe. That's all I'm saying. Maybe the testicles would be made to look like a camel toe.
Rodney Perry with his knife.
No, I'm just reading this article. No study has reported muscle loss greater than 12% with testosterone suppression even after 3 years of hormone therapy. Males have approximately 40% greater muscle mass than females. So even with testosterone suppression, transgender women have a advantage, muscle mass advantage over females. This lady is right for calling them out. Get this big bitch out of here. You gotta go.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. For the record, I just want to make sure it wasn't me because honestly, I don't think it's fair. I don't think men, if you used to be a man,
Wait a minute, I can't lift. Y'all kicking me out.
No, just keep living. We're gonna check you out.
So Roddy's gonna be the pecker checker.
I don't want that job.
Oh man, y'all made me laugh. Okay, it's always great to have a great show. Speaking of laughing, and speaking of hilarious, I don't know if you all saw the fan run across the court yesterday during the Wizards game. I was cracking up. But that's this fool. This morning, I found out that this fool's about to get a felony charge pressed on him for running across the stage, thinking he was acting funny and trying. You know how some guys go, "Yeah, right, this is crazy. I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna run across the stage and do it for a joke." You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is funny, and do it for a joke. This dude this morning woke up and found out the DC police is going to charge him with a felony charge. I'm scared of one fact. I think this is going to incite those 21-year-olds, those young kids. Hey, let's see what we can do. Let's run up and do something stupid during an NBA game. Talent, what's your thoughts?
I think they got to learn their lesson, man. It's been long enough. A lot of this stuff's been going on, and nobody's been penalized or held accountable. Now that we're in such tight, trying times, you know what I mean? I think that this needs to happen. I think because all it's going to take is a couple of examples to be made. And then people are going to take it seriously and be like, you know what? We're chilling. We're cool. They're going to think twice before they want to throw a thing of popcorn or a bottle of water or whatever. They got to be taught a lesson, man. I like every other facet of life. We all get this in different walks of life.
Yeah, exactly. Phil, your thoughts?
Man, it should be a felony, but the one way that I remember that you could get away with it not being a felony is if you actually take your clothes off when you run across the field or the court. If you freaking, then it's just indecent exposure. It's a fine, and then you get to go home afterwards. But if you got your clothes on, you're gonna get in a lot of trouble. That's a felony.
Yeah, Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
I mean, what's happened to this guy? This is a really new thing because with the bottle that the guy got hit in the head with a bottle and this and that. These arenas have enacted stiffer punishments, and so this guy who was really having some fun got caught up in the malicious stuff that we thought was racial with these other people, and so he might be going to jail on a felony charge based on the fact that these other incidents happened. So it's kind of a culmination of a lot of things at once.
But Rodney, it was racial incidents, I think, in some of them, and I think the last
no, that's a fact. I'm saying this wasn't racial,
right?
But
okay,
it's falling under that umbrella because anybody that does anything in the stadium now is subject to these rules.
Honestly, the way they can do this, the way they can end the whole thing is give somebody a guaranteed sentence. Whether it's 30 days in jail or whatever it is. If you do something to any of the players, or you throw something on the court, or you run on the court, you're going to get a guaranteed jail sentence. I think it'll stop everybody. I mean, that's the only way. Other than that, people are going to do it to prank. They're going to do this prank. Some people are going to do this hate. Other people are going to do this prank. It's the only way I think you're going to end this whole thing. That's my thought.
Well, all you got to do is whoop one person's ass.
Yeah, that'll do it too. That'll do it too. That absolutely would do it. I can't even front on that. Talent like he agreed.
Because I just think I make an example of somebody. He took it all the way black. Yeah, whoop somebody's ass in front of everybody. Everybody got to see you whoop this person's ass, and so goes the village. You're right.
Yeah, and that person would probably be Russell Westbrook. He'll probably say, "You know what? I can't take it no more. That's it. I'm gonna do that." Next thing up, I wanted to talk about is Jake Paul has his fight. He has a fight that's coming up. He's supposed to fight former UFC Tyron Woodley. People are saying that he's all over the place and everything else. He's stunting too much and everything else. I read a lot of things about this morning. A lot of people are unhappy with the Jake Paul fight that's coming up. He's fighting another UFC fighter. The last UFC fighter he knocked out in 2 minutes in the first round. Jake Paul said he's the real deal. Talent, is he the real deal?
I'm gonna wait to this fight, Frank. If he knocked this dude out, not just win, but if he get a knockout, I'm gonna go out there and say he might be the real deal. Because right now we're still rolling on Luckamundo. You know what I mean? We're still 3-card Molly, 4, 5, 6. It's all lucky dice right now, I think. Now, if you get 2 knockouts from these 2 professional fighters, that this is what they do, knockouts, he might be the real deal.
Okay. Fig, you think he's the real deal?
He knocked out a basketball player and who else?
A UFC fighter.
Boxing is different, man. It's like we saw what happened when Conor McGregor went up against Floyd. Man, Floyd took him out into the deep water and then beat his behind. You fought Nate Robinson, which is a basketball player. I mean, boxing is a skill, man. You know what I mean? They call it the sweet science. So if you're not a boxer and you're going up against somebody who trained in boxing, it chances are you're going to lose. It's just like myself, Rodney, or Talent. We get on stage and we could do comedy, we could tell jokes, we could rock out. But you get somebody to come off the street and they try and do the same damn thing, it ain't gonna happen the same way. It's the same thing. If you're good at something and that's what you do, the novice can't come off the street and be better than you. So let's see him in a ring with a real boxer, and then we'll be able to judge from there.
Okay, Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
I don't know the difference between it. Is Jake Paul and Logan Paul two different people?
I think it's different. I think it's two different people. Oh, I think it's the same person. I think it's the same person.
Logan Paul is the guy that was supposed to fight Mayweather. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. And
Jake Paul is a different guy.
Yeah, Jake Paul fought the UFC fighter. He's fought the UFC fighter.
Let me tell you something. He might be able to beat that UFC fighter standing up, but when that guy goes to the ground, it's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's okay to have exhibitions against guys that's out of their prime or guys that and try to use your youth against them. But these guys are gonna get hurt, man. They messing with these professional fighters. Let me tell you something. These people can't wait to put. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, I like the way you did that. Like it was like if your thing was acted up. I like the way you did that. I like the way you did that. All right, let me
try
talk
to
about.
Stop using profanity on the show.
I appreciate that. Let me talk about the next thing, man. Is this morning, everybody's talking about Julio Jones because the Atlanta Falcons have to trade him. Not that they want to, they have to because they cannot sign their new people they just got up in the draft. They can't sign it. They have no cap space. They have to get rid of him and everything else. It's sad, but it looks like he's going to land on a team such as the Seattle Seahawks or somebody who's going to get him at the easiest bargain basement price right now because Seattle's in the mix heavy, the Patriots in the mix heavy. But over the weekend, Seattle looks like they're going to be the front runner because of what people have been saying. Talent, do you see Julio Jones in Seattle? Do you like that fit with him up at the Seahawks playing?
No. I mean, I could see him there. You got a great quarterback there, so I could see that. But from what I hear, Green Bay's going hard. They want him. You know what I mean? They're trying to, but everybody still has to wait to see what the hell's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. So that's the problem there. And also, as you see the picture that I sent you guys hanging out with Shady McCoy, he trying to go to Green Bay as well. You know what I mean? So, everybody's you got a bunch of these heavy hitters that are waiting to see this week what happens with Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But to me, I think that's a dangerous spot for him to go. I would love to see him, with Aaron Rodgers. That's back to the Super Bowl right there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, what's your thoughts?
Man, I gotta concur, man, with Talent, man. Julio Jones is just that dude, man. He's next level. You put him in with a quarterback that's on his level, you know what I mean? A Aaron Rodgers, a Russell Wilson, or something like that, man. Or even up with a coach like Bill Belichick, man. You're gonna cause a lot of problems. So I know a lot of people were waiting for the June 1st deadline because a lot of money comes off the salary cap after this deadline to see what these players are going to do. But at the end of the day, we really are waiting on Aaron Rodgers to see what the next moves are going to be. Mm-hmm. He's like the biggest fish here.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
I mean, the Atlanta Falcons got to make a move. And to be honest, Julio saw this coming a week ago. So he started letting people know, yo, I'm ready to get out of here. Mm-hmm. Whether that be with Aaron Rodgers or any one of those big name quarterbacks. If ex quarterback and Julio go anywhere, it's a good day.
Right. Okay. All right. I'll give that to you. Over the weekend, also in the NBA, I want to come back to the NBA. Over the weekend, the Clippers came from the brink of elimination or close to it, and they've literally showed that they got some girth, as they say. You know, they got something in them. And they're not folding as like we thought they were going to fold and everything else like that, as easily as we thought they were going to. Talent. Did the Clippers shock you with their amazing wins, especially coming from behind and doing it? Did they shock you over the weekend when you saw how they came back? What you thought?
No, it wasn't a shock. I was more like about time. You know what I mean? Like, why do teams have to wait, until their back is against the wall to be the team that we see them to be? Like, we know the arsenal you got. We know the players, the caliber players you got. We know what you're capable of, but you just don't show it until your back's against the wall. I think what you call it had to get worked up. I think Kawhi had to get worked up to kind of like, put that presence on the team. Like, I'm upset. Like, are we going to play or not? You know what I mean? Because he's such a passive guy at times. So I think he had to really get his back against the wall, get upset, and for that to be contagious in that locker room. So I wasn't surprised. I was just like, about time.
So, Fig, were you surprised that the Clippers had their back against the wall? They played a lot better and that they didn't fold?
No, because I believe they have championship pedigree over there, or at least playoff pedigree. You got some bona fide stars, some ball players over there, and when you put somebody back up against the wall, even though they may be timid or they don't want to do something, when your back is against the wall, you're forced to do something. You know what I mean, if you will, and give some credit to Ty Lue. Making a little adjustment by going small and running, and your best players are some of your smallest players. You got Zubac out of there, and you went a little small and started playing that way, and it seemed to pay off. At least the last two games it has.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
I'm not surprised at all, man. I mean, Clippers are still a really good team, and they were just being outclassed, and they got sick of it. And it's about time, like Talent said. It's about freaking time. Can they keep it up?
Yeah, I think that.
Do the Clippers have a short in them? We don't know.
I think that's. I think that's the general consensus. I want to talk about the next team. I want to talk about is the Brooklyn Nets, because Brooklyn. They didn't play good on Friday night. They got beat by the Celtics. But I think the Brooklyn Nets showed a chink in their armor. Now, when they face a team like Milwaukee, because Milwaukee's sitting there waiting in the wings, I think, and I'm going to go on the record, I think Milwaukee can beat them. And I'm only going to say this because I see that if you drive to the hole on Brooklyn Nets and you score everything like the Celtics continue to do, you could beat the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets don't have a great defense. The Celtics shouldn't even have got that game. You know what I mean? They shouldn't have, but they did. Now, the Celtics might even be able to get the next game. But that's just my thought. Talent, what do you think after you saw the Brooklyn Nets, first of all, lose to the Celtics on Friday and demolish the Celtics yesterday? What's your thoughts on the series right now? Do the Brooklyn Nets look vulnerable?
Well, first of all, you said they might get another game. Boston, calm down.
No, they won't. I said they could, but they won't.
Don't drink this while we're on the show. Listen, must be drunk.
I'm gonna get you, Talent. I'm gonna get you.
I don't think it's a chink in the armor. I think that's something that we all knew. We all talked about that. They're not a highly defensive component team, but that's why they put that team together, to beat you at offense. They knew what they was doing. They put 3 scorers together so that we can put up numbers and you have to match our numbers. So you remember that's the West Coast style of play for the last 7-8 decades. Just run and outscore everybody. So they're doing that on the East Coast. But I don't think it's a chink in the armor. I think that if anything, what I've always thought is people who have too much rest, are at a deficit. So you got the Bucks sitting there waiting.
Wow.
That hurts for that next series. When you win too fast and the other team you're waiting on is going 6-7 games and you got it done in a sweep, all those days in there you waiting and not playing, the team that's coming right off a plane that keeps playing, they got the momentum, believe it or not.
Yeah, I agree with that part. What you think, Rick?
First off, I believe it was a combination of two things. One, what you be very familiar with, Frank, is that Celtic pride. And two, I think the Nets took their foot off the gas and took them a little light because knowing that one of their big guns was injured and they didn't have much to go with, and then that whole thing with Kyrie saying what he said and coming in, maybe the team played a little tentative and Boston got one. But you punched him in the mouth. You woke up the sleeping giant. And you saw what they did the very next game. I expect things to happen very similar this next one, and on to Milwaukee.
Okay, Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts?
Man, I alluded to this a little bit earlier. The NBA is nothing but a giant soap opera. Just random out of nowhere, a team that has no chance whoops another team that's superior as ass, just out of nowhere. I've been saying this for years, whether it's Michael Jordan or the Lakers or the Detroit Pistons. There's somebody in a room typing this shit up. Because it's all dramatic. Oh, it's gonna be a crazy series. The Lakers are 7th seed. They should blow out Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns. Okay? But we can't have that. Right? So, no. So then Chris Paul get hurt. Oh, it's over. The Lakers come back. They lose the first game. They win. It's just like, it's too much theatrics. Right? Now you're looking at Boston. You got the Leprechaun, so you can always write in some fantastic shit. I'm waiting to be watching the game and go, yo, get out of here. He just levitated across the floor. It's a matter of time. It's too much. I mean, they've been alluding to it lately. If the referees getting involved in the game, let me tell you something. They got psychological profiles on everybody. They know how to push your buttons. They know how to make you do crazy stuff, and they know how to make these games sway left or right if they want to.
I will say this about you, Rodney Perry. Say one thing about this. I could almost see because the last time we were on the air, remember we were having that talk about Chris Paul, and he was saying that ref he's been involved when they have 11 straight games. Guess what happens? The Suns win the very next game. You know what I mean? The NBA got to pay attention to some of this stuff.
No. The NBA is writing it.
Yeah, but the NBA got to pay attention to some of this stuff, and we see what's going on. Like we're not zombies. You know what I mean? Like
we're idiots.
Yeah,
it's us.
Yeah,
we're idiots. They're manipulating our minds. We talking about it because they set it in motion.
Yeah, but it's so blatant too because Chris Paul literally said, "This dude right here, this ref is ref the last 11 games, and in all the 11 games he's ref,
they're setting us up."
Yeah.
They're not setting us up for Chris Paul. They're setting us up for a LeBron comeback.
Possibly.
There's more money in a LeBron Jordan conversation than any other conversation.
Yeah, they're definitely true. So let me ask you guys this: as we talk about the Brooklyn Nets and everything else, you think Brooklyn's gonna make it to the finals? Do we see Brooklyn make it to the finals the way they're playing right now? I mean, because it seems like they got everything. You think so? Okay.
Yeah. They eliminated they challenger. They eliminated the Philadelphia 76ers.
Who did? What are you talking
injury?
About?
He's talking about the powers that be.
Okay, well, the powers that be, Milwaukee Bucks right now. Everybody's still not paying attention to Milwaukee. Milwaukee is balling. Fig, you think Brooklyn Nets is
gonna get hurt tonight?
Okay, now you jinxing them. Well, we'll see.
No, I really believe that I believe that the Nets will come out, but Milwaukee has definitely improved this year over the last couple years. Giannis, I believe, has taken another step because he's willing to take an outside shot. He's willing to take a three, a game time three. He's not. They don't have him ball dominant, going to the paint all the time. You have the Holidays. You just have other players. Excuse me, on that team that has stepped up. The Middletons. It's just a different team, and they look like they play inside and out on both sides of the ball and defense too. So
okay,
I I think Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee is going to be a tough series. I think it could go either way.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts on this because going to what you're thinking, going to how you're thinking, everything else. Do you think the NBA wants a Utah Jazz in the finals? Because right now,
hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no,
okay.
hell no. I'm trying to figure out another way to say it. Oh, hell no. Nobody wants to see no damn Utah Jazz.
Well, the Utah Jazz.
When Utah Jazz was good, they still didn't win.
Okay, but
it's just not a good narrative. It's a bad story.
All right, but the Utah Jazz right now are literally like the best record in the league. I think they're definitely the best in the West. They're manhandling right now. They're manhandling Memphis Grizzlies right now, even though Grizzlies seem to be giving them problems. But you think that's part of the narrative too, Rodney?
He's writing the story.
He's writing the story? Okay.
He's writing the story.
I'll tell you this though. Memphis Grizzlies got a game when Donovan Mitchell was out and when he made his comeback. I mean, Donovan Mitchell is the player that makes is to make them go. Anytime your point guard is out or one of your key players is out, you have an opportunity to move.
Talent, what you think?
I think that's the worst typewriter I would see. I think that I could see Utah going to the finals, and I could see because of the fact of a Donovan Mitchell, young player like that. He'll have the young people's views, and depending on who they face is going to depend on the viewership of the overall finals. But I think we're in different times, so it's not like when we had 4 or 5 channels where it really mattered. I think now with all this programming, it don't matter who the hell go to the finals. They're gonna make some money.
Rodney,
no.
You get the last word of the show, Rodney. You get the last word of the show.
Cities matter, talent. Cities matter. Like cities, densely populated cities matter. Utah is not a densely populated area. That means they're not going to have a lot of viewership. Right. And if the whole country has to look at Utah, you rest assured that the NBA finals going to take a dip in the ratings. They don't need that. They're coming off a quarantine year. They're coming off you take their face off your face, Fig. They're coming off this whole year of the bubble where viewership was down, and they looking to get them 2 big teams back, the Lakers and the Nets. Write it down.
Okay, all right. That's the show. We got to get ready to roll up out of here. Talent, tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
Hey, Talent the Comedian on Instagram. Follow your boy anytime. Facebook, King Talent Harris.
Fig.
All social media platforms and Comedian Fig. I'm going to go find Rodney Perry up in Canada. But you can follow me on the box seats Monday through Friday, unless it's a holiday, 1 to 2 p.m. Me ain't here.
Rodney, tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
Hey, I'm easy to find. RodneyPerry.com is the website. Rodney Perry Live on all social media. Hey, man, I know it sounds crazy, but this is the ultimate Pelican brief.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Anyway, y'all, the show's the box seats, the channel's the humor meal. Thank y'all for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. This week, we're going to have some other special guests. We're going to follow up on the NBA playoffs. We're doing the Aaron Rodgers watch. We're doing the Deshaun Watson watch. This is the week. It's June 1st now, so things are going to shake out this week. We got a lot to talk about. We got some guests we got to bring on to talk about, too. So thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.